Hello, all. Welcome to the latest installment of Jeff's UAP and paranormal pontifications. Tonight we got like a two-part little deal. Um, Before we get into the main bit, I kind of want to go into a segment I call Santa Claus gifts for the Majeena. And so basically, I'm gonna turn the camera around. What we're looking at here, since I had my CE5 experience with Majeena, which I'm pretty sure it was them, can't confirm it for sure, but you never know. Um, I tried multiple other attempts, and I basically left out a little shrine for them on the bedstand and next to the bed, and we got a nice little triangle here to represent their trinity and pyramids of Giza, which correspond with the three stars in Orion's belt. I've got a copy of the best book of all time. There's going to be another one soon. Children of Orion, Finding the Cryptoterrestrials by Ryan Musgrave Evans, which, for the literature I've encountered so far, is absolutely essential for understanding what these people are. And then a little triangle candle holder that Jess got me. And here is a glyph. So I wrote them a message. Here's a glyph that represents Orion's belt, more or less. And if you look at David Bowie's video, Ashes to Ashes, he's got this written on his face. Interesting thing. But here is also a message. Since my CE5 experience, I wrote to them, "Good evening. The Majeena are welcome in this house. I believe we communicated a few nights ago. The experience was too new and scary for me to stay connected. I heard a woman speaking, but was unable to decipher what she said. I also saw images of several faces in my mind. If it is okay with you, I would like to attempt friendly contact. Also, is marijuana use helpful or a hindrance to the process? I may need assistance in overcoming fear. Thank you for your time, Jeff." So, after I had my first probably potential contact experience, I wrote that. And been a little freaked out to do CE5 since then, just because that was a bizarre experience, and I've tried it kind of half-heartedly with and without marijuana, because I talked to King Musgrave, and marijuana helps because imagine are attracted to neurodivergent states. But for me, marijuana also has a paranoia fear effect. So I was getting kind of both of those. But anywho, moving on to the second part of this video, a good friend of mine from Colorado Springs, Colorado, in the United States, and obviously, most people might know that, but he has had a haunting since earlier this year that just sets off the CT profile points like mad. And he gave me permission to share it, not his identity, so I'll just say a good friend from Colorado Springs. And so basically the start of this story is last September, my girlfriend and I, we visited Colorado, as is near and dear to my heart, and I wanted to show her the place like crazy. So went out there, met several friends, met this friend in Colorado Springs, and at this point I knew about the Majeena, but I did not know their interdimensional nature. I thought the most I knew about them was they were potentially aliens from the Arcturus system. And if I had known what I do now, I would have gone to his house and just try to talk to him, which will happen later this year. in a different location. But basically, his story is he had a entity in the house that was kind of observing him, making him feel like he's not alone per se. And he turned around one night, and this was, I want to say it was July or June or August of last year. He turned around and he saw what looked like a face and freaked him out. And he says, "Leave me the frick." It's a different word, not frick. Alone. And then the lights in the house flickered, which is a common CT profile point. You can see it all over Slapped Ham, Sir Spook's, Depths of Despair, Nuke's Top 5. Sorry, itchy nose again. My nose is terrible when I do these videos. All of those paranormal videos have Majeena stuff all over the place. I don't know if Sabetna are doing much of those, because I think Sabetna probably don't do a whole lot of on-Earth operations, simply because the atmosphere was a little disagreeable with them, and they're kind of incompatible, though they are incompatible with our atmosphere, because, P-52J rods come down here for too long and they won't survive without the proper breathing apparatus, but neither here nor there. So, anywho, this happened, and then he told to go away, lights flickered, and then he was downstairs, he filmed an orb slowly moving around and kind of disappearing into the wall. And I've learned orbs recently have been a property of the Majeena, either kind of like almost like a personnel carrier transporting device. Chris Bledsoe was taken up in one. He was shown the Great Pyramids of Egypt, and among other things. And if you ever read the Meadow Project, which is a great a research story about a group of independent researchers researching paranormal activity in the South. They didn't disclose the location exactly, but it's imagine a habitation with all the CT profile points, and one of their researchers actually turned into an orb, and for him, the regular passage of time passed while his friends, or his compatriots, if you want to say that, saw him moving at a much different pace. So, anywho, back to the original story. The friend who wants to remain anonymous in Colorado Springs has felt being watched. He's experienced trickster behavior. Objects being moved, kind of like a pranky way. Like, he'll come home, the remote's gone, and then a couple nights ago I was talking to him, and the remote was back when he turned around, which is very typical Majeena behavior. I mean, you look at the testimony of Charles Hall, and what happened there, he was out doing his job one day in Nellis Air Force Base, out on the ranges doing the weather balloons, and he threw his favorite rock. He had a favorite rock that he threw out, and without thinking, he threw it out there, and then he regretted it. And then shortly after, he's like, he had the thought, damn, I hope somebody returns that to me, or some kind person. And then shortly thereafter, there was his favorite rock and his weather shock. So it's kind of like that same kind of trickster behavior, kind of just lighthearted fun stuff. Which, if you read the Millennial Hospitality series, I was full of all that, the playful, fun stuff. When Charles first saw a P-52 Orion Mageena, he didn't have an explanation in his mind, so he called it a new type of seagull. So, fun story. They had other people out. There were American military guys out in the desert that were supposed to secure some Area 53 and 54 from intruders and whatever. And they were told, I'm guessing somewhat through Range 4 Harry and other personnel involved, that if they see white, elliptical, or cigar-shaped craft, etc., that they should consider them a new type of seagull with a 50 or 60 foot wingspan, which is quite amusing, really, because they heard what Charles said, and they kind of made it into a fun game. And that's in book 2 of the Millennial Hospitality series, and that's really quite amusing. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with all of that. And that's all for now. And keep your eyes on the sky. Keep your eyes on the triangle craft. The Majeena and Sepetana are good buddies, and they're here for the long haul. What?